Ada, are you sleeping there? Do you want the sun to me at home before you sell that water?
I am packing the pure water bags into the ice chest. The tap down the street was dry, so I had to fetch from the main road.
Look at this lazy girl. Always complaining about the tap. When your mates are out there bringing money to their families, you are here talking about dry taps. Hurry up.
Mama, please, today is Tuesday. The headmaster said if I don't bring my scholarship letter to the office by noon, they will give the slot to someone else. I just need 1 hour to...
I don't want to hear it. Finish your work. Oh, hear her. Scholarship. So you want to abandon this house to go and sit in a classroom? Who will feed your sick father? Who will pay for Chima's books? You are the first child.
Ada, your education ended the day your father's legs failed. You are the man of this house now.
Mama, tell her to stop making noise. Her voice is irritating me. Ada, where is my breakfast? I have it for Masha.
Chima, the bread is on the table.
This cheap bread again? You were out until 9 p.m. yesterday and this is all you can buy. You are completely useless.
Don't mind her, my special son. Go and get ready. Ada, leave that tray onto your head now.
If you come back without 10,000 naira, don't even take enter this door.
Welcome to Folktales by Lami, where every story carries pain, drama, love, karma, deep life lessons, and stories that keep you speechless to the end. Please like and subscribe.
Ada walked through the dusty, dark streets of Lagos while the rest of the city was still sleeping. The wooden tray on her head was heavy, filled with cold bags of pure water and boiled groundnuts. Her neck ached terribly, but she dared not stop to rest. This had been her life for 2 long years, ever since her father's small business collapsed and his health failed. As the first child, the entire family depended on her young shoulders. She remembered her hidden scholarship letter, folded tightly under her mattress at home. It was a golden ticket to a bright future, but it was a ticket she could never use. Her family needed food, not her dreams. At home, Ada was treated like a servant who did not deserve a single thank you. Her younger brother, Chima, and her younger sister, Ngozi, were the golden children. Mama Chima showered them with affection, ensuring they went to a good school and had clean clothes. Ada was the one who washed those clothes at 4 a.m., using her bleeding fingers to scrub the dirt away. Whenever Ada managed to save a few coins for herself, her mother would forcefully collect it. "It is for Chima's school excursion," Mama Chima would bark. Ada loved mathematics and books, but her own mother had locked her out of that world forever. One afternoon, a terrible storm hit the Lagos market. The wind blew furiously, tearing down plastic umbrellas and sending dust everywhere. Ada rushed around, trying to cover her goods with a large nylon sheet. Her mother came to the market stall, soaked and furious. Instead of asking if Ada was safe, Mama Chima screamed because Chima's school assignment had gotten damp inside Ada's small backpack. "You are a wicked, careless girl," her mother yelled, pushing Ada out into the pouring rain. Ada stood under the heavy downpour, shivering and crying silently. She looked up at the dark sky, wondering if God could see her suffering. The next morning, Ada decided to visit her old school one last time. She didn't go to attend classes. She went to say a final goodbye to her childhood. Standing outside the dusty classroom window, she watched her friends laughing and writing notes on the chalkboard. Her heart broke into 1,000,000 pieces. A classmate spotted her and waved happily through the window. Ada forced a bright smile and waved back, though her throat felt tight with tears. At the school gate, she looked down at her black school shoes. Slowly, she took them off and placed them neatly by the gate post. "Someone else can use them now," she whispered, walking home barefoot on the burning hot pavement. Lagos streets were loud, crowded, and completely merciless to the weak. Danfo buses roared past, splashing dirty water from potholes onto Ada's faded skirt. She stood in the middle of traffic under the blazing sun, shouting, "Buy cold water here." Many car owners rolled up their windows, looking straight through her like she was invisible. One afternoon, an angry customer threw a plastic bottle at her face because the water wasn't cold enough. "Are you stupid?" the man barked. Ada simply lowered her head. "I'm sorry, sir," she whispered gently. She never fought back, choosing respect over anger even when her heart was bleeding inside. Every single evening, Ada returned to their small room carrying heavy plastic bags of rice, beans, and pepper. Her siblings would rush to the table like hungry wolves, grabbing the best portions of the food. Chima would take the largest piece of fish, while Ngozi complained that the stew wasn't spicy enough. Their mother sat at the head of the table, chewing slowly, never offering Ada a plate. Ada would sit quietly in the corner, her own stomach rumbling with deep hunger. "Is this all the money you made today?" Chima asked one night, sneering at her. Ada closed her eyes, wishing the ground would swallow her. The only person who truly saw Ada's pain was her father. He sat on an old wooden bench outside their FAMILYHUMILIATIon room, his body paralyzed and his voice weak. He watched how his wife and children treated Ada like a slave. One evening, as Ada walked past him to fetch more water, his trembling hand reached out and caught her wrist. His eyes were wet with heavy tears. "They do not see you now, my beautiful daughter," he whispered, his voice shaking with deep emotion. "But one day, the world will see you. And they will regret what they did to you." Ada squeezed his hand tightly and walked into the dark. A few weeks later, Ada's childhood friend, Blessing, found her at the bustling market. Blessing looked neat and happy. "Ada, my boss is looking for a trustworthy girl to manage her new boutique," Blessing said excitedly. "She pays very well, and she will train you in business." Ada's heart leaped with pure joy. This was her chance to leave the streets. They agreed to meet the woman the next morning. But that night, her mother shattered her hopes. "Chima needs exam fees tomorrow morning. You must go to the farm market to sell early." Ada begged, but her mother refused. Ada missed the meeting, and the golden opportunity vanished forever. It was a hot Tuesday afternoon when Ada first noticed him. A tall, calm man dressed in clean, simple clothes stood near her roadside stall. He didn't look like the regular loud customers of Lagos. He had a relaxed posture and intelligent eyes. When Ada greeted him politely, "Good afternoon, sir, what can I get for you?" he simply shook his head and walked away. But the next day, he returned to the exact same spot. He stood there for 30 minutes, quietly observing how Ada smiled at rude customers and handled her heavy tray. He bought a single bottle of water, paid silently, and disappeared into the crowd. The calm man became a regular shadow in Ada's life. He appeared at the bus stop, near the market, and even down her street. One evening, as she waited for a bus in the fading light, he walked up to her. "Why do you apologize so much?" he asked suddenly. Ada startled, confused. "Sir, I have watched you," the man said gently. "People cheat you and insult you, yet you remain completely respectful. Why?" Ada lowered her eyes. "My father taught me that respect costs nothing, sir." The man smiled, pulled out a thick bundle of naira notes, and forced them into her hand. Before she could scream, he vanished. Ada started seeing the man everywhere. He was always watching from a distance, never getting too close, never making trouble. One afternoon, she saw him standing across the street while she stopped her work to help an old, blind woman cross the chaotic highway. Another day, he was nearby when a reckless driver knocked over her tray, scattering her groundnuts into the dirt. While others laughed, Ada silently knelt to pack them up, and she saw the man watching her with deep intensity. She told her mother about him, but Mama Chima snapped, "If he is not giving you more money, ignore him and work." One Friday, while selling near a large office block, Ada overheard two wealthy market women gossiping. "You see that quiet man over there?" one woman whispered, pointing toward the calm stranger. "He just returned from Canada. They say he is an incredibly wealthy investor looking for honest people to build businesses with." Ada's breath caught in her throat. Canada. Rich investor. She looked at the man, who was currently watching her from across the street. When their eyes met, he didn't look away. He gave her a small, respectful nod. Ada's heart pounded wildly. What could a wealthy man from Canada want with a poor water seller? That very night, Ada's world crashed down again. She walked into the house, her feet blistered and her back burning with pain. She placed every single naira she earned on the wooden table. Her mother counted the money, threw it on the floor, and hissed with deep disgust. "Useless girl. You stay out all day and bring this trash home? You are the reason we are suffering." Chima laughed loudly from his corner, playing a game on his phone. Ngozi didn't even look up. Ada felt something inside her snap. She ran outside, threw herself onto the dirt behind the house, and wept until her chest ached with total emptiness. A wealthy businesswoman named Mrs. Okonkwo noticed Ada's grace one afternoon. She stopped her luxury car by the roadside. "Young girl, I see how hard you work," Mrs. Okonkwo said kindly. "Come to my fashion design shop tomorrow morning. I want to mentor you and teach you the trade." Ada felt a surge of hope. But that night, Mama Chima ordered, "Your sister needs new school shoes tomorrow morning. Go to the market at dawn." Ada cried, pleading for just 2 hours to see Mrs. Okonkwo. Her mother screamed and cursed her. Ada obeyed and missed the appointment. When she went back later to apologize, the slot was gone. The next afternoon, the man from Canada finally approached Ada's stall and sat on a small plastic stool. He looked deeply into her tired eyes. "What do you want for yourself in this life, Ada?" he asked softly. Ada froze. No one had ever asked about her desires before. Tears spilled over her lashes. I don't know, sir. I forgot how to want things for myself." The man's face became very serious. He leaned forward and whispered, "Do not lose hope, young lady. You are being watched closely." Before she could ask what he meant, he stood up, dropped a large bill, and walked away into the Lagos traffic. Ada reached her breaking point. Her mother had insulted her publicly in front of all the neighbors, calling her a worthless child who brought bad luck to the family. Chima had mocked her faded clothes, and Ngozi completely ignored her existence. Ada sat on the floor of her tiny room, staring at the cracked walls. She felt completely hollowed out, like a ghost. She thought about running away, just boarding a random bus and disappearing from Lagos forever. But as she looked through the door, she saw her father staring at the sky with deep sorrow. She couldn't leave him behind. "One more day," she whispered. On a rainy Thursday morning, a small child ran up to Ada's stall, handed her a plain white envelope, and ran away. Ada's hands shook as she tore it open. Inside was a beautiful, thick card with an address printed in gold ink. The Grand Luxury Hotel, Victoria Island. Friday, 2 p.m. There was no name, no signature, and no explanation. Her mother snatched the card and frowned. "This is a trap. It is those ritualists who kill young girls for money. Do not go." Chima sneered. Who would even want to use her for rituals anyway? But Ada felt a strange spark in her soul. Ada spent the night awake, holding the golden card tightly against her chest. The next morning, she washed her only good dress, a faded blue gown, and ironed it carefully. As she stepped out of the compound, terrified and unsure, a figure stepped out from the shadows. It was the man from Canada. He looked at her clean dress and her trembling hands. He gave her a warm, reassuring smile. "You received the invitation," he said calmly. Ada nodded, her voice barely a whisper. "Should I go, sir?" The man looked directly into her eyes and said one powerful word, "Go." Then he turned and walked away. Ada had never seen a place like Victoria Island before. The luxury hotel was gigantic, with shiny marble floors, golden chandeliers, and beautiful music playing from invisible speakers. She felt completely out of place in her faded dress and old sandals. The security guard stared at her with deep suspicion, and the receptionist looked at her with cold judgment. "I have an appointment," Ada said bravely, holding out the gold card. The receptionist's eyes went wide. She immediately picked up the phone, spoke in a polite whisper, and turned back to Ada with a huge smile. "This way, please, Ada was led into a magnificent private boardroom with large glass windows overlooking the ocean. 3 well-dressed people in expensive suits stood up to greet her with immense respect. They asked her to sit down on a soft leather chair. The woman opened a thick black folder. "Miss Ada, for the past 6 months, our team has been monitoring your life," she said gently. Ada gasped, gripping the table. "Monitoring me? Why?" The man turned the folder around, showing her dozens of photographs. There were pictures of her fetching water at dawn, helping the old woman, and crying silently behind her house. Ada's head spun wildly. "I don't understand," she whispered. "Who are you?" Suddenly, the heavy wooden door opened, and the calm stranger walked into the room. The 3 executives immediately stood up and bowed their heads. "My name is Mr. Emeka Nwosu," the man said, taking a seat across from Ada. "I am the returnee from Canada. I came back to Nigeria to invest millions, But I needed a manager with true character. I tested many educated people, but they were all greedy and cruel when they thought no one was watching. Then, I found you. You chose goodness in the dark." Mr. Emeka smiled warmly, sliding a thick legal document across the table toward her. "You never broke, Ada. You honored your father, and you kept your dignity on the cruelest streets of Lagos. I don't care about university degrees. I care about the heart. This document makes you the full owner of a massive new wholesale distribution business in Lagos. The funding is settled, the staff are hired, and the location is ready. Walk out of this room as a CEO." Ada stared at her name printed on the legal stamp. She buried her face in her hands and sobbed tears of pure relief. They took her through the bustling streets of Lagos in a magnificent convoy of 3 black luxury cars. Ada pressed her face against the cool glass window, watching the very roads where she had walked barefoot just days ago. The convoy pulled up in front of a massive commercial building. Above the entrance, a huge, beautiful sign read, "ADA's Place, Wholesale Merchandise." Dozens of neatly dressed employees stood outside, clapping and cheering as she stepped out of the car. Mr. Emeka opened her door. "Welcome to your destiny, Ada," he said proudly. She walked into her clean, fully stocked kingdom. That evening Ada sat in her beautiful new office. "My family took everything from me and gave me stones," she said gently. "I owe them nothing now." Ada wiped a final tear from her eye. "I will rent a beautiful house and get the best medical care for my father," she said firmly. "But for my mother and siblings, I need total space." Ada never returned to the FAMILYHUMILIATION compound. She blocked her mother's desperate phone calls and Chima's begging messages. Her family sat in their empty room, staring at photos of the successful Ada online, weeping with deep, bitter regret for the treasure they had foolishly thrown into the mud.